After lightning-sparked wildfires swept across the sawgrass prairies of the Everglades, park rangers and researchers walking the blackened ground did not find what decades of official surveys had led them to expect. Stripped of the dense grass cover that had concealed them for years, the burned landscape revealed an invasive predator hiding in far greater numbers than anyone had confidence to claim before. The fire did not create a new problem. It simply removed the one thing that had been letting an old one hide in plain sight. A swamp built to burn. Let's start with something that surprises a lot of people who picture the Everglades purely as a fragile, waterlogged marsh, because fire is not an intruder in this ecosystem. It is one of the fundamental forces that built and continues to maintain it. Large sections of the Everglades, particularly its pine-dominated uplands, are what ecologists call fire-dependent landscapes, meaning the plant and animal communities living there have evolved specifically around a regular cycle of burning, and actually decline in health and biodiversity when fire is suppressed or kept away for too long. Research from Yale School of the Environment, examining fire patterns across the Everglades in recent years, found that burned areas typically recover remarkably quickly, with vegetation productivity in most locations not just returning to normal, but actually exceeding pre-fire levels within about 2 years, an increase of roughly 27% in a standard measure of plant health called the Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. Pinelands that had gone too long without burning, by contrast, were found to be gradually transitioning into less resilient, hardwood-dominated ecosystems, losing the specific fire-adapted plant diversity that makes the Everglades pinelands so ecologically distinctive in the first place. That single finding, that regular fire actually strengthens rather than damages this particular landscape over time, is a big part of why land managers continue treating fire as an essential management tool rather than a hazard to be eliminated wherever possible. Because of this, fire management in the Everglades today involves a genuinely deliberate mix of two different processes. Controlled prescribed burns set intentionally by park managers to mimic the ecosystem's natural fire cycle, and wildfires, typically sparked by lightning during South Florida's punishing dry season, which behave less predictably but often serve a similar ecological function once they pass through. Both types of fire clear away built-up dead vegetation, recycle nutrients back into the soil, and periodically reset large stretches of dense grass and brush back down to bare, blackened ground, at least for a while. Land managers have tracked fire activity across the Everglades in considerable detail going back to 1978, and that long historical record shows a genuinely important pattern. Prescribed fire has been the primary driver of increasing overall burned acreage in recent decades, while the rate of naturally occurring wildfire has stayed comparatively stable across the same time period. That distinction matters because it means the ecosystem's fire exposure today is shaped considerably more by deliberate, planned management decisions than by pure chance, even though both categories of fire continue to play a meaningful role in maintaining the landscape's overall health. Where fire has been suppressed or delayed for too long in a given area, researchers have documented a genuine increase in vulnerability to other disturbances entirely: drought stress, pest outbreaks, and plant disease. Suggesting fire exclusion does not simply pause an ecosystem in place, but actively degrades its resilience over time. That bare, blackened ground is exactly where this story actually starts, because it turns out fire does not just reveal information about plants. In the Everglades, it has recently revealed something considerably more alarming about what has been quietly living underneath all that grass. Something slipped in during the 70s. To understand what researchers actually found once the fires cleared the cover, you have to go back decades to the origins of one of the most consequential invasive species events in modern American history. The Burmese python, a massive constrictor native to the swamps, grasslands, and jungles of Southeast Asia, is believed to have entered the Everglades ecosystem sometime around the 1970s or 80s, most likely through a combination of intentional releases and accidental escapes connected to Florida's large